As we look around the NBA, so many teams have changed this offseason. So many players have gone to new teams. So many teams have traded for certain players. So many teams have stayed the same. And guess what? It's time to talk about it. But today we are going to talk about everything that happened on the Western side of things, because today I am doing my Western Conference standings predictions. Now, for those who have not watched, I posted my Eastern Conference standings prediction a few days ago, so you make sure you go check that out. But today, let's get into the Western Conference predictions, and I don't want this video to be as long as the Eastern Conference one, so without further ado, let's talk about the 8th seed. Now with the 8th seed, I have the New Orleans Pelicans. Look, I love the Pelicans and I like Anthony Davis. Look, Anthony Davis, one of the top 5 players in the league, and honestly can become the best player in the NBA one day. But I definitely think that with the loss of DeMarcus Cousins and Rondo and some of their depth pieces, he's going to struggle to carry this team, but I definitely still do think that he can make the playoffs with this roster. Julius Randle is not DeMarcus Cousins, but he's a quality big man, even though he is a little bit undersized, and he can pass the ball and handle it a little bit. He also has Drew Holiday, who can perform at an all-star level, even though he won't make the all-star team because of all the guards in the West, but he's definitely on that borderline all-star level. He can give you around 20 and 5, so that's definitely enough there. And even though their bench and their wings are a little sus, he can still lead this team. And Anthony Davis is a phenomenal player. He's the type of player that can secure a playoff opportunity by being on a team with at least 2 supporting players, and he has that. And I didn't even mention Nikola Mirotic, who can space the floor at a great level. He can shoot the ball phenomenally, great shooter. So I definitely think that he has some good pieces to work with, and he can lead this team to the 8th seed in the Western Conference. Now with the 7th seed, I have the San Antonio Spurs. Now, I had just heard the news yesterday that the San Antonio Spurs lost their starting point guard basically for the whole entire season, and that is DeJounte Murray, as he is out with an ACL injury. So, man, that's tough. So, the standings may differ a little bit, but I really do have them at the 7th seed. I think even with DeJounte Murray, they would have been a 7th seed anyway. And look, I'm saying this for real, I love Greg Popovich, but he's not going to be able to lead this team to some 4th or even 3rd seed in the Western Conference, because I hear some people saying, oh bro, watch out for the Spurs. No, I'm not going to watch out for the Spurs, because even though DeMar DeRozan is a solid player, and I think he is among the best shooting guards in the league, he is still not a player that is great enough to secure you a top 4 seed in the West. No, he's not that great. And I understand he has other pieces like LaMarcus Aldridge. They also have some other quality bench pieces, Patty Mills, Pau Gasol. Even though he's a little old and overpaid, they still have some good quality pieces, as well as Rudy Gay. But those pieces are not enough to secure a top 4 seed. And who's shooting the ball? That's something I want to know. Who is going to be spacing the floor on this team? Pau Gasol? Because all their players are mid-range players, or at least their core. LaMarcus Aldridge and DeMar DeRozan are their 2 best players, and those are mid-range shooters, so they got a lot of kinks to work out. And the West is tough, man. Popovich cannot overcome that much adversity in the West to put this team among the top 4 to 5 teams, and I just don't see that happening. Now we get into the part of the list where I know so many people will get angry. At the 6th seed, I gotta go with the Oklahoma City Thunder, and it's for numerous reasons. For one, Andre Roberson will be missing a significant amount of time due to another knee injury. I don't know if it was misdiagnosed, because he was supposed to come back this season healthy and ready to go, but there are some issues with his knee that have not been resolved. Russell Westbrook's knee, another surgery. This is like the 3rd or 4th surgery. I cannot remember off the top of my head, but y'all guys correct me in the comment section on the same knee. This is a guy that will be turning 30 in November, and he's coming off of a knee injury. And for a player that's game is heavily dependent on athleticism, even if he loses about 20% of that athleticism, that's a big deal. The Oklahoma City Thunder should not take any risk by rushing him back or anything like that. They got to make sure that he is ready to go. So they got to really time that return on time and not bring him back too early. And if you bring him back too late and you're already losing enough games, you put yourself in a predicament. So I definitely think the Thunder have some things to work out. Even if Russ is back by the beginning of the season though, we've all seen Russell Westbrook when it comes to leading teams. Even though he'll put up the numbers, they don't correlate to wins, and the players around him will struggle, such as Paul George and Carmelo Anthony last season. And Billy Donovan is just not a good coach. I think he is one of the worst coaches in the NBA, and that has not changed from last season to right now. So I definitely think the Oklahoma City Thunder will be disappointing yet again, and they will just fall to a 6th seed in the Western Conference. The Los Angeles Lakers have to be the most interesting team this upcoming season. A team of young quality players such as Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma, and even Josh Hart if you want to throw him in there, added with some veterans with Rajon Rondo, Lance Stevenson, and JaVale McGee and Michael Beasley, and obviously the big addition of the Los Angeles Lakers and probably of the league in LeBron James. But there are so many things with this team that are good, and there are so many things with this team that are bad. Well, for one, the good thing is they have some veterans to help the young players and to get better. I believe at each and every position there's at least a veteran or a player that has played at least 4 to 5 seasons. As the point guard, you have Rondo, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Lance Stevenson, LeBron James, and Michael Beasley and JaVale McGee. But the problem with this team is a lot of those players and even the young players are inconsistent at times, and there aren't that many shooters on this team. And even though I understand they have Ingram and Kuzma who can space the floor, and even KCP and Josh Hart if you want to throw them in there, those are young players. Last season when Lonzo Ball went down, Kuzma's numbers dipped a little bit in his efficiency, and even though Kuzma is a surprise and he was a rookie, that's the problem. These are young players. For your shooters to be the young ones, there are going to be moments and stretches that they have where they're not that consistent or they're not knocking down shots. And for LeBron James, that's a big deal because for one, LeBron James, his key has always been spacing, and I haven't even addressed the point guard situation in Lonzo Ball and Rajon Rondo. And after Rondo, I don't really see another point guard on that list. So, man, it's going to be pretty tough with LeBron James playing on the court with those two players at the point guard position. And if they ever run a lineup where Rondo and Lonzo are on the court at the same time, that's just a recipe for a disaster, unless Lonzo's going to start shooting way better from 3 next season. Because if that happens, man, they're going to be firing on all cylinders because Lonzo will be able to play off ball. LeBron will be able to play on ball at times, because if Lonzo's off ball, what is he necessarily going to do? Is he going to be cutting to the basket like D-Wade did in Miami with LeBron? I mean, I don't know what he's going to be doing there. Is he going to be hitting some mid-range jumpers? I mean, we really need to know what Lonzo's going to be doing if he does not have the ball. At the end of the day, there are too many question marks on this team, and that's primarily the reason why I think they're going to be the 5th seed in the Western Conference. With the 4th seed, I have the Portland Trail Blazers. Now look, everybody calm down. I get it, the Trail Blazers lost last year in the playoffs to the 6th seed while they were the 3rd seed, even though I explained again that the seed difference is not that big of a deal because the wins and losses, they're basically identical when you look at the records from the 3rd seed to 8th seed last season. But I get it, Dame choked. CJ, he could have done better at times. Nurkic could have done better at times. All of their players bear some type of accountability and responsibility, and the coach as well. I get it. But the regular season last year, you cannot deny what the Portland Trail Blazers did. Even though Dame did struggle for about the first 20 games, at the end of the day, Dame did catch his footing at the end of the season and led that team to the 3rd seed in the Western Conference by nearly accomplishing 50 wins. I thought the Portland Trail Blazers last season were not going to be good, but at the end of the day, they balled out. So we got to give them props where it counts. I definitely think Damian Lillard is among the 10 best point guards in the league. CJ McCollum as well, among the 10 best shooting guards in the league. Nurkic, he's around the 10 best centers in the league. And when you got 3 top 10 players at their positions, that should guarantee you at least a top 5 seed, and if not top 4 seed in the Western Conference. I mean, they got the pieces to work with. They got some other quality pieces around them that stepped up last season, such as Shabazz Napier, and I think that they can ball. And Damian Lillard, he got to step up in the playoffs, but like I said, with the Lakers and LeBron, that's a topic for another discussion. I got to go with the Blazers at the 4th seed. The Utah Jazz, man, I ain't gonna spend too much time talking about it because I made a video about them, and if you haven't seen it, go check that video out. I definitely think they are going to be the surprise again of the NBA next season because I think they're gonna ball. I think they're gonna win over 50 games. Yes, I really think that the Utah Jazz will win over 50 games next season, and Donovan Mitchell will lead this team to a 3rd seed in the Western Conference. Now, granted, I don't think they're going to the finals. I don't think they're going to beat the Warriors or the Rockets or anything, but I definitely think that the Utah Jazz, bro, phenomenal team. I think that their coach, Quinn Snyder, underrated coach, made a lot of adjustments mid-season, incorporated Donovan Mitchell in the offense better than almost any coach in the NBA could. Rudy Gobert, when he was injured, keep in mind, the Jazz did not get their footing, but when he came back, they became one of the best teams in the league. Only a few teams like the Rockets, Celtics, and even the Warriors, they could touch them. Only those 3 teams could touch the Utah Jazz when Rudy Gobert came back from injury. Phenomenal team, one of the best defensive teams of all time during that stretch, holding teams to under 100 points and things like that. Great defensive rating, offensive rating. It wasn't the best or anything, but they were still among the better half of the NBA. And I think Donovan Mitchell, man, it really just comes to him. I think he's going to take a huge step next season. Maybe he can show off some ball handling ability and passing ability because as a rebounder, he definitely showed up last season in the playoffs. And I think when it comes to his passing, he's going to show next season that he is ready to go. He is a phenomenal player, possibly will be an all-star. But you guys watch out for the Utah Jazz. I definitely think that they will be the 3rd seed in the Western Conference. And man, D-Mitch, man, D-Mitch. Now with the 2nd seed, I get it, the Golden State Warriors. I get it, I get it, I get it. They are the best team in the West, but we all know the Warriors don't try. I mean, they got Steph Curry, KD, Klay Thompson, and Boogie is on the bench for a majority of the season, so their big man position for a while, I don't know what they're going to do there. Maybe plug in Jordan Bell at times, but I definitely do think that the Golden State Warriors, bro, they just don't care about the 1st seed. It's not something that they're really bothered with or concerned with, but if they wanted to, they could go for that record again. I mean, that's always a possibility, but I think Steve Kerr kind of learned that going for the record kind of took a little bit out of their players, and maybe if he rested them in the 2016 season, injuries to Iguodala, Bogut, and even Steph Curry possibly couldn't have happened in the finals. So I definitely think that when you look at this roster, they just don't care about that record. They don't care about being the 1st seed. But if they wanted to, they could do it. Don't get me wrong, they could do it. But I definitely got to put them at the 2nd seed just for the motivations. I just don't see them going after the 1st seed. The Houston Rockets. Now, everybody's seeing what Carmelo Anthony looks like right now on the team, and he looks fine. I mean, he apologized for taking a 2-point shot, and if that's what Melo's about, if he's about sacrificing in order for the greater good of the team, I am all on board with that. And there are some rumors that they're trying to get Jimmy Butler. I don't know how they're going to pull that off, but if they manage to do that, they're definitely going to be the 1st seed. So, man, I definitely think that when it comes to the Rockets, though, let's throw the Jimmy Butler thing aside because I don't even think that's possible. I don't think they're going to do that. But they want the 1st seed, okay? Last year, they wanted that home court advantage. I think they're hungry. I think Chris Paul coming back from injury, even though I think he will show some signs of decline again, and he may get injured again because of his age. In the playoffs, you got to watch out for that. But the regular season, even when Chris Paul was out, James Harden still managed to lead this team and win the MVP. And I think Clint Capella will grow as well and possibly be an all-star and perform at an all-NBA defensive level. And Mike D'Antoni, we all know he loves offense. Eric Gordon's still there. PJ Tucker plays defense great. So I definitely think that this team will be the 1st seed in the Western Conference. But that should conclude this video. If you guys are not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Also hit the bells to be notified after each and every video that I post. And if you guys are not following me on Twitter, go and do that. The link will be down below in the description box. Now, without further ado, I'm out. Y'all have a great day. Peace.